We have Tatsumaki, the Tornado of Terror, versus the Dominator of the Universe, Boros. Every time I hear someone suggest something like this, I wonder if there is even a debate. That being said, I understand why people argue about it because of the lore and narrative, so I personally think the outcome is clear. However, since precision is the goal of my channel, I need to make sure and be accurate. We'll begin with Boros first. Boros is one of the few people who understands that Saitama is the real deal. He was capable of going toe-to-toe with him for a short while. Boros is one of the first aliens or monsters to take a punch from Saitama and live. Saitama is quote-unquote the planet's strongest warrior. Boros was shown to be able to regenerate completely in a matter of seconds, allowing him to remain in the fight even when receiving punches from Saitama. While Boros confirmed that Saitama was clearly holding back, there were also times when he surprised Saitama, such as the punch behind the neck, which in my opinion made Saitama a little upset, and the speed of his meteoric burst state. Furthermore, Saitama has repeatedly acknowledged Boros' strength, something he had never said against any other monster. In terms of speed, considering that Boros has said that this man Saitama makes him want to go all out, meaning he wasn't before, and that subsequently in the story, Saitama easily responded to Flashy Flash, who was proven to be faster than light, putting Boros undoubtedly above that, it follows that Boros would be clearly faster than light. One of his henchmen was confirmed by Murata to attack at sublight speed, and Saitama reacted to it easily while being caught off guard, taken aback by meteoric burst speed and being hurled into the moon in almost an instant. Moving on to destructive capacity, the collapsing star-roaring cannon is the ultimate attack that is available to Boros. Both Boros and the databook claimed it to be a force capable of destroying Earth. However, the guidebook also claimed that he was capable of destroying stars, so I strongly doubt this and prefer to stick with what the actual character said in the manga, which is that it would take a powerful blow to stop it. This strike was so impressive that it took a serious punch to neutralize it. Let's now discuss durability without the regeneration aspect. It has been demonstrated that Boros is resilient enough to withstand blows from Saitama, and even a shockwave from a serious punch didn't atomize him, whereas an inferior punch from Saitama destroyed Elder Centipede entirely. After all of that, there is no denying that Boros is one of the strongest characters we have seen in the series. However, can Tatsumaki compete with that now? In a manner similar to Boros, Tatsumaki is also known for being a beast, ranking second behind Blast. We know that she is the greatest weapon of the Hero Association, and the Monster Association's greatest foe claimed that she was one of the 4 heroes who could handle Elder Centipede because of her possessing exceptional psychokinetic abilities. Tatsumaki is clearly more frightening than characters like Orochi because she was shown to be able to battle Psycho Orochi while remaining careful not to harm the other heroes, who outclassed King Orochi, who is thought to be the strongest monster on Earth. Tatsumaki's abilities would require their own entire video, but I'll go ahead and list a few of them. She can also fly, lift up and control objects or beings of any size, create defensive barriers, generate tornadoes, sense and detect the location of her enemies, redirect attacks, compress beings or objects, and more. Let's talk about her feats. She was able to defeat Psycho Orochi by holding back and not even using all of her power. Psycho Orochi demonstrated being multi-continental, attributed to her impressive energy beam that detached a continent-sized chunk of ocean crust from Earth and raised it into the upper atmosphere, making her multi-continental in terms of raw power. However, what's remarkable is that it only took a panel for that blast to reach it, and Tatsumaki was adept at reacting to it. That attack was calculated to be at least sub-relativistic. However, we recognize that Tatsumaki and Psycho Orochi are much faster than that. Awakened Cockroach asserted he was able to avoid at the speed of light, and Orochi easily murdered him with his horn. Even though the cockroach was surprised and lacked the ability to flee, Orochi would still be at least as fast as light, and both Psycho Orochi and Tatsumaki would be faster than that. Along with all of that, Tatsumaki's defenses are off the charts, enduring multiple energy beam attacks from Psycho, using her barriers and tanking the continental attack without feeling the need to drop the other heroes she was carrying. Later on, a fully concentrated Tatsumaki was capable of twisting up Z-City to destroy Psycho Orochi's roots, while damaged and holding back because she could not go all out for the safety of the other heroes. Alright, I just want to say that Tatsumaki has a lot of features that I didn't mention, as this isn't a fully Tatsumaki dedicated video. We will determine who could really win this matchup based on who could really outclass the other Boros or Tatsumaki. Even though we still didn't see what Tatsumaki could do at her best because she was holding back the entire time, I still think that Boros could take her on and defeat her. Let's begin with an audiobook called A Summer Festival with Tatsumaki. This takes place before Saitama is completely bald, that is, before he even breaks his boundary. This entire audiobook explains why Tatsumaki was unable to control Saitama using her psychic abilities. She repeatedly questioned why her powers weren't working on him, and since it was dark, her only defense was that Saitama was a ghost, and nothing can stop ghosts. Even after Saitama denied being a ghost, Tatsumaki remained perplexed and accused Saitama of lying. Well, because of that occurrence, Fubuki later claimed that it wouldn't be a leap to imply that a being like that who surpasses her sister's psychic talents exists in City Z. After all, the location is rumored to harbor unusual and powerful monsters. Okay, so why am I bringing up this audiobook? We understand, based on the audiobook and established in the manga, that Saitama gets more powerful every day to the point of one-shotting himself from yesterday, and even when Boros senses his limitless potential, he is still confident he can align with him even without the meteoric burst form, while Tatsumaki can't even make Saitama budge, and is really confused and frightened since her abilities don't work. Boros was still receiving strikes and matching up his speed for a short time. But you can also say that currently in the manga, given that Tatsumaki was shoving him around and reacting to him when he attempted to defend the citizens, she fared rather well against him. She climbs above Boros as a result, but we know that Saitama was holding back and wasn't even trying to fight either of them. In contrast, against Boros, he was still defending himself and surprised throughout the battle, in contrast to Tatsumaki, who didn't even try to attack and wasn't even trying to defend himself, and when he did, it was said to be effortless. While this wouldn't be a fair comparison given that we already know that the Saitama who battled Tatsumaki is stronger than the one who battled Boros, based on the audiobook encounter, the same Saitama who battled Boros would still be able to do the same to her. Alright, let's compare the feats. Since Tatsumaki is stronger than Psycho Orochi, we can safely say that she would be multi-continental, plus that's obviously nothing compared to Boros being a planet buster confirmed in the databook and in the manga. We cannot really calculate her speed. Instead, we would vastly overestimate her and put her on par with Flashy Flash because, in one of the earlier chapters, he was reacting to Sonic, who could now match Flashy Flash if you know. However, that would still not be as quick as Boros, because while Saitama was attempting to avoid Boros's blows, he was surprised by his swiftness and how many hits he managed to land. On the other hand, he reacted to the Flashy Flash like nothing. Now, even in terms of durability, Boros is unquestionably superior. Surviving multiple hits from Saitama is an incredible accomplishment that would automatically surpass anything Tatsumaki could muster. She tanked a continental level hit, so I would think the barrier is really resilient, but she must only have done it once because she then began to dodge and avoid those energy beams and didn't take even one head on. So I doubt she could take on the collapsing star-roaring cannon. But it's safe to say that if she doesn't place her card down, she could tank most of Boros' energy beams or punches. Furthermore, as Boros told Saitama, his recovery and regeneration skills are a major factor that would allow him to defeat most of his opponents because the damage they would take would only stack and eventually weaken them. As you are all aware, in anime/manga matchups, even if the two combatants are relative to each other, which I don't think they are, it will all come down to their final blows. And I don't see Tatsumaki surviving or tanking a Planet Buster attack because that would make her too strong and contrary to what her feats and the plot suggest. Tatsumaki is a very OP character, so in order to defeat him, she would have to surprise him and twist him in the same way that she did to Psycho Orochi. However, unlike Orochi, who succumbed to a single punch, that opponent was able to withstand multiple punches from Saitama and take a serious blow without immediately dying. In addition, I think that Psycho Orochi could be defeated in the same way. To sum up, Boros is faster and has superior attack potency, which would be necessary to defeat Tatsumaki despite her numerous abilities. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to leave suggestions. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Check out my previous video, and with that being said, peace!